Hello everyone, it's David again. We are in Babylon 5, Season 4, Episode 13, Rumors, Bargains, and Lies. We start off with the command staff eating breakfast, and all of a sudden Sheridan gets an idea. So he tells Marcus to take 3 White Stars out to Sector 87 and wait for further orders. Wonder what he could be planning. Find out Delenn has been gone for 3 days and that on Mimbar, fighting has broken out in the capital between the religious and the warrior caste. So wonder what the worker caste was doing this whole time. Were they just saying, hey, we got friends on both sides, we're staying out of this? Kind of like the American Revolutionary War, or War of Independence against Britain. It's like one guy said roughly a third of the country was pro-independence, 1/3 was pro-British, and 1/3 was basically neutral, depending on who was winning battles in their particular area. So, at any rate, we cue the entrance. Find out Delenn and Lanier looking at scenes of the capital before the Civil War. And Delenn is reminiscing, probably a lot like, especially in Sarajevo, in Yugoslavia, or the old Yugoslavia, when they had the Olympics there, and then trying to look at, Sarajevo during the Yugoslav wars. Just absolute tremendous devastation. And I took a little bit of a passing interest. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because the person's deceased, and they also did a very nationally televised special on him. But one of the skiers that won a gold medal, he's from the state of Oregon, Doug Johnson, and he suffered, unfortunately, a very traumatic injury. And so I was, being an Oregonian, number one, being a nurse, number two, and taking care of him and finding out where he was. I did a lot of that, looking, at his Sarajevo when he was at the Olympics. And then just a few short years later, the absolute devastation just broke my heart for the Sarajevan population. Say that 3 times fast. I don't think I could. At any rate, Lanier's talking about all the old problems come back. When you peel across that fine layer, when the Grey Council was disbanded, did that just open the old wounds and made all the old problems come back, as Lanier suggested? And what would it take for the Minbari people to come together again? And we find out a little bit later. Just hand over power to the people that weren't involved on either side, the worker caste. Delenn meets with Neroon, and the rumor is begun that Delenn will surrender to the warrior caste. Oh dear. We shipped on over, and Londo is denying presence of the White Stars on his border, and the non-aligned world ambassadors know that that's not true. They're suspecting something further is up when Dr. Franklin asks for more blood supplies just in case. I can tell you, having been a nurse, doctors are always interested in keeping up on their blood supplies, because you just never know when that next tragic accident or the next pandemic is going to be around the corner, and, you just need those supplies in a hurry. So, Delenn is overheard saying the religious caste cannot be allowed to win this war. What they didn't overhear, whether by accident or by design, is Delenn saying the warrior caste cannot be allowed to win this battle. But that further fuels the flames of the religious, I don't want to say fanatics, because they don't seem very fanatical to me, but when you try and kill yourself to prevent another person from accomplishing a goal of peace, maybe that is a fanatical behavior then. Goes to remind me, and I put down in my notes, don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see. Had a personal problem with that one time. A guy thought that I was shoving his younger son, and caused him to trip and fall over. And he called me the next day and apologized because his daughter, who was there, and his son, when he, was able to recover his senses, pointed out, said, no, he wasn't pushing me down. He was extending his hand to help me back up because he tripped over a tree stump and landed with a Potter smack in the back of his head. So he apologized to me and, made everything better. So, but, in the initial instance, he was extremely angry because I was many years older than his son, and he thought that I had just, turned around and walloped the poor kid. At any rate, the religious caste starts to plan the destruction of their own ship. They're going to put poison gas into the air recycling system, and Lanier overhears their plans. Good old Lanier just happens to be where he is needed the most. And we find out the infamous mem, Babylon 5 mem, nothing happened in Sector 83 by 9 by 12. I repeat, nothing happened in Sector 83 by 9 by 12. Which we all know the White Stars were there, they blew up some asteroids, and the League, being ever paranoid, thinks maybe there's some sort of cloaked ship that they can't detect. And so the Centauri asked for help, so they are going to be bound and determined now. We're going to get the same help and assistance that the Centauri are receiving. Of course, what they don't know is that's playing right into Sheridan's hand to bring the White Star Fleet into the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. We zip on over, and a military caste member attacks Naroon. Uh-oh. Lanier takes the poison cask out of the air system and thereby saves the ship. We go in, and the League of Non-Aligned World insists on bringing the White Star Fleet to guard their systems. We're going to get the same help as the Narns and the Centauri, and Sheridan ends up screaming yes in victory as he's on an elevator and can't be heard by the others. We zip on over, and unfortunately Lanier loses part of his lung. And I'd like to know how these people are able to sleep in an almost upright bed, because all the patients I know of would slump down at the end of their bed, and we were constantly pulling them up into bed as a nurse. In fact, that's how I injured my back, was pulling a patient up in bed. But evidently the Minbari seem to be able to keep upright at the same time recovering from major surgery like losing part of your lung, because I worked on a respiratory care unit. Losing part of your lung is no easy thing to live with. Naroon leaves the ship, and as he is doing so, he reports to his superiors that he has the plans of the religious caste counterattack on the capital, and within a week they expect that the climactic battle will have taken place, and the military caste will therefore be the winners. Of course, as we all know, Naroon is setting up his superiors. At any rate, lots to talk about down below. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And just to repeat something I heard, nothing happened in Sector 83 by 9 by 12. Hope you all have a good rest of your day.